Good morning, everyone. I'm in the goat barn here now this morning. Today is a day where we got to get some baby goats taken care of. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of always doing this, but unfortunately in the state of Minnesota, goat kids need to have their horns removed, especially if they're wethers and you want to take them to the fair. That's its whole own issue, and I'm not even going to go down that road. But that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be disbudding a few goats and getting them ready for the fair. I've got some other goats that need tattoos, and I got some goats that need hoof trimming. So I'm going to step out in there and see what the ladies are working on and kind of show you what progress we're making today. As far as the farm goes, otherwise it's a beautiful day out. It's nice and sunny, but it's running about 9 degrees. So we're going to work on the inside stuff today where it's not quite so bad. We're going to play with the goats that are between the ages of probably 5 years of age, all the way down to maybe 1 or 2 years of age when it comes to the trimming. And the disbudding, we're pushing about 5-6 days of age. So maybe that'll give you some idea of what we're working on here on the farm today. It's a big family effort. My youngest son, Matthias, has got one of our church ladies up there babysitting today, so it really allows us to get some work done today. So come on along, and I'll show you what we're working on. Probably going to be a little noisy. So my bride here, Molly, is using the Hoof Boss, and this particular doe has recently kidded, and she's having a little difficulty getting around. Her hooves were a little long, so we're getting them real trimmed up, real nice. She'll be buffed up real good for the upcoming winter months here because of the Hoof Boss. We're particularly working on making sure that hers are real filed down close. Probably even more so than what we could do if we just used our nippers or hoof trimmers. So we've got about 8-9 of these to do. I'm not going to bore you with too much video of this today because, you know, I've put out other great videos on the Hoof Boss. If you go to our channel and search the Hoof Boss or Hoof Boss, you'll see some of our videos on it and how we do it. And this particular tool works absolutely great. Doesn't quite replace a hoof nippers or hoof trimmers, but it sure saves a lot of work when you got a tough hoof to work on. So this is one of the things that we're getting done today. We've got 9 of these girls to do, and we'll get them done. We're working in 2-person teams. And the other thing that we're going to do here is we're going to get going on this disbudding. If you guys haven't seen a disbudding box, it's just a little box to help hold the little goaties. In my situation, these goats are getting a slight pain med and a sedative just to kind of take the edge off them because this process isn't the nicest. Disbudding, you can do chemically, you can do by bander, or you can do thermally. We're doing the thermal method here. So I've already got the narcotic, little painkiller in there. I've got a little sedative in there, but the goat is still awake. So it certainly will feel some of this. I took a piece of wood here. I'm just going to test it to make sure my iron's hot. And then I'm going to do just a couple second burn on each side. And then I'm going to kind of do another burn up towards the top where their scent gland is to make sure that's good. And then I might be a little different as a veterinarian, but I like to make sure it's completely cauterized. There's no bleeding before I release the goat kid. So I'm just going over the top. I'm going to knock off the little crust of the horn that's there. I'm going to make sure it's all nice and cauterized before I let that goat out of that box. I do that because these goats have to go back into the environment with their moms. I can't guarantee they're going to keep these things perfectly clean. I don't need them bleeding. I don't need them festering, especially in the birthing stalls. You can put, your triple antibiotic on these. You can put your blue coat on them. You can put your Vetricin on them if you want, folks. That'll help you too. But I find that if they're nice and cauterized and they're not bleeding, then these goats do pretty good. So once I get done with this, we basically take them out of the box. I make sure that they've got the proper medications that I want so they don't have any issues. Again, I'm using a slight sedative. I'm using a painkiller, and I'm going to reverse them here. So this is like a little antidote to help them wake back up a little bit more after I sedated them, so that literally they'll be back up and walking in a minute or two. I find this works really well. So here's kind of the before. You can see we took a clipper and we shaved the hair off it. I know some people don't. I feel I get a better burn this way. I get less scurs. Scurs is the name of the game when you're doing this procedure. You don't want to get it. This is after the fact. Again, there's no bleeding. They're nice and dry. So we got, I think right now we've had 1, 2, 3. I think we've had 3 ladies drop kids on us here in the last few days. Started on December 1st. I think we had our first ones. And by the 3rd, we had 6, 7 of these guys on the ground. So it's kind of imperative we get on this at this point in the game. We're here at, December 5th. I don't like to go too long, or it gets really hard to get these done. So I find the older goats, you have a better chance of them creating a scur. They certainly don't take the sedatives as well always, and they don't always fit in the box. So I find that I get on these pretty quick. And if I do that, hopefully it'll be just like a circumcision baby. Hopefully they won't also remember this procedure and dislike us. So I find that for me, I like to get them on that first 5 to 7 days, get this done. I'm not the biggest fan of doing this, but it's life. I wish I could change the rules. I don't anticipate that though in my future. So at this point, you do the life of a farmer and you get it done. So that's kind of how this goes. We'll get this one done here and we'll move on to the next steps.
All right, so you just watched the disbudding, and that's what it is, folks. I get it. It's a necessary evil right now with the rules that we follow within. I personally like the horns on goats, but some people don't. So anyways, we're moving on. So I'm going to show you some of the tattoo stuff that we're going to be doing. So basically, what we do is in the one ear, which would be the right ear, we put our herd prefix in, which is backwards to look at, but that goes in the right ear. And then on the other side, starting with the letter M, because this year's letter is M, designed by the American Boar Goat Association, we put that in first, and then this 4-letter ID, and we use our ID that corresponds to our tags that we have for the eradication program of the United States government for the scrape disease. So scabies is what it is. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do left ear in one, and right ear in one, and then we got our paste. So that's what you're going to be seeing here. We're going to get these little doe kids done here.
So as you can see here, I'm going to use that box again. Now these goats don't have the sedative, so my daughter's struggling a little bit to put them in the box. Ear tattooing is still painful, but all we give them is a little bit of pain med. We don't sedate them for the tattooing because it's a much simpler and quicker procedure, and I don't believe it has quite the afterlasting pain that the thermal burn does when disbudding. In the ears, I got to put them on properly. I've got the left ear and then I've got the right ear. Typically, I use 2 different guns. It makes it easier for me. I've got the one that's got their scrape number in it with the year date of when they were born. And since these guys are born here in December, they're getting the M with a 4-digit number, which corresponds to their tag. And then we keep that scrape tag if we need it for down the road. And then on the other ear, I've got my herd identification letters, and that makes it so that I can easily register this animal. I can do the sale on it. And my method is simple. I just put it on. I find the most clear flat spot of the ear. I press it on for about maybe 2, 3, 4 seconds. I let go of that device, I set it down, and I take a black ink and I smear it on there hard. And then I let it sit for a minute or two, and then I do a light wipe off, and I bring in a pretty heavy-duty flashlight, and I check to make sure that my dots, instead of looking red where I poked them, look black. And that's what I want. If I got that nice black look to it, then that ear tattoo is done. I've got to do this on the boys and the girls. This doesn't 100% save us from tags. Sometimes for 4-H, there'll be 4-H tags. Sometimes when somebody buys a doe from us, they'll still want the tag in it from the USDA, so we'll still put that in if they want it. So there's different reasons that ear tags will still get put in. But I do find this is nice, and this certainly allows the registration to go through a lot easier because, legally you're supposed to have it in the ear when you register. So these kids all get registered up now in the next week or so. And they also, the ones that my girls and boys are keeping for fair will stay, but the other ones will get listed for sale. And hopefully they'll make some nice 4-H animals, maybe FFA animals. And if not, we don't sell them, we'll come back and, sell the does off in 7 to 8 months for breeding stock. And at 7 to 8 months, the boys will get sold off for meat. So that's the process of ear tattooing. I'd love to bring the camera in a little closer, but I'm out of people to do that, which makes that a little bit difficult right now. So I'm just trying to do it the best I can here from a distance. I realize you probably can't see it as well as I'd like you to, but we're trying our best here to show you what it's like on a day at our farm. I've got a whole bunch more of these to do, so I'll just keep working from goat to goat here to get these done, and hopefully it'll go nice and smooth today. We do wear gloves so I don't end up with, black tarnished hands. And as far as the goats go, we wipe the ears pretty good before we stick them back because they'll get the birthing stalls full of this too. So it's what it is. I can't tell you different, but it's the life of identifying and getting goats ready for July's fair and for sale in the state of Minnesota. So this is part of the process that we do. So. Well, I appreciate you coming along on our work that we've been doing here today on the farm. It's been a beautiful day. The goats are disbudded, the hooves are trimmed, and the tattoos are in place on those little goat kids. So on to bigger and better family things here for the afternoon. But I appreciate you coming along and following us as we went through all that today, and I hope it was somewhat enjoyable for you too. Thanks for watching, folks. Please like, subscribe, and follow our channel here on the Homestead.